Most students lose competition even before they step on the stage. And it's not because they're bad, but because they're playing the wrong game. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to win any competition you enter, even if you think you're average. And you can trust me because in 2025 alone, I participated and won more than 11-12 competitions, and you can see the list of them on the screen now. This is part 1 of the series where I'll break down exactly how competitions work and how to win any competition you enter. And we are starting out with the ultimate rule that applies to almost every competition you'll ever enter in your life. I call this the ultimate rule because it applies to any kind of competition. That can be whether you are presenting a report, a project where you have to stand and present something in front of a panel of judges, whether you are submitting a creative work, or it can be whether you are pitching an idea or, for example, a business idea. It works with any competition. Every competition is designed to answer one simple question: who made the judge's job easiest? Judges are very tired, exhausted, and they don't have the mental capacity to decode confusion. They are rushed, they are comparing hundreds and sometimes even thousands of entries altogether. And the students who win understand this concept. When you participate in a science fair or a creative writing competition, you will most likely receive a rubric based on which your project will be judged. Use the rubric very carefully. I know it sounds so boring, but from what I have observed is that most students either completely forget the rubric or they just use and follow part of it and then leave the rest. No matter how life-changing your project is or how thought-provoking your essay is, you aren't going to win if it isn't aligned with the rubric. So what I will ask you to do is, before submitting a project or before submitting your essay or creative writing or whatever it is you are presenting, align it with the rubric. Okay, so compare and contrast it with the rubric. See if it's in alignment with that. If you think you are hitting all the boxes, then you're good to go and you should already be feeling the award coming towards you. But if you think some things aren't clear in your project or you're missing something, that is your sign to complete that before submitting. Pro tip for a competition where you are required to submit a presentation or follow a few slides to present your project, it is that you need to be dedicating 1 to 2 slides for each criterion mentioned in the rubric. And on the screen you can see a glimpse of the rubric on the basis of which my most recent science fair project was evaluated. Let me tell you exactly how this looked like in practice. So, for example, let's take the criterion of originality and creativity. Instead of claiming that our app, which was what we were creating for the science fair, instead of claiming our app is creative and innovative, we dedicated 2 full slides proving and showcasing how our app is creative. So what we did is that we conducted a market analysis. We looked at all the apps that already exist solving this exact same problem. Then we identified what gaps they have. Third, we tried to fill those gaps the more creative and practical approach, and we dedicated 2 slides proving that. So now instead of judges having to do the thinking of, okay, this is a nice app, but what makes this unique, they're looking at the rubric and they're like, what makes this original or creative or innovative? The answer was in front of them, on the screen, on the laptop, in big bold letters. So they just looked at the rubric and they gave us full marks. So whenever you are submitting a project or presenting an idea, always think from the judge's perspective. Make the judge's job easy. And that is the real advantage, because when you do the thinking for the judges, you aren't leaving any room for doubt. You're making the decision to give you that award very easy. And that is the ultimate rule. The ultimate rule is, to summarize, making the job easier by aligning your project with the rubric so the decision is very easy. The ultimate rule applies to any competition you'll enter. But for a more customized approach, in the next part of the series, I'll be breaking down only how to absolutely slay your presentation-based competitions or your science fairs. We'll be talking about how to communicate, how to engage with the judges, and how to guarantee that you are going to receive the reward. I'll see you in the next one.